I want to take this opportunity to talk about this particular piece that I have here. First of all, it's acrylic and mixed media on canvas. I use a little bit of the mediums that I normally use are water-based spray paint, paint marker, pastels, acrylic, and sometimes oil, and other little things like graphite and grease pencils. Now this particular piece here is titled The Silent Majority. And it is a piece that has a lot to do with possibly the current times we're living in under the Trump administration, where they're really hyping, or not hyping, but necessarily the concept of inequality, or one race believing that they're in dominance over other races or other cultures is seen. Some of them, sometimes people are going to call them Karens, or sometimes they're going to be seen as groups like in supremacy groups. But this particular piece, I did it in 2023, and the main motivation behind the silent majority is that I felt that we as people in the United States mostly, if we can learn to organize ourselves and sort of put aside differences, we might be able to come to a better conclusion about what's happening in our social situations. I'm going to begin to explain how this piece is interpreted in color and in design. The concepts that I always use are very symbolic. So I use the arc to symbolize the aura, the energy. We have the vibrations, same vibration that we use for audio, and you have visual, and you have the mindset, and then you have a lot of other things happening. In this particular piece, I picked a person of color because I believe that history has a lot to say about why the mentalities that we had in our past seem to continually pass on from one generation to another. In Mexico, even though the entire group is Mexican, and I lived in Mexico City for about a year, and I lived in other parts of Mexico, I did notice that the difference in separation of people was in two forms. The first form was in economic. Those that had money were valued, and those that are poor are degraded. And the other one is of skin color. In Mexico, as other countries, the darker your skin, the more you're seen as primitive or indigenous or ignorant. And the lighter you are with blue eyes, you're considered to be better. And I believe these are ideas that were passed on from the colonizing, era, where colonizers who are of predominantly European descent would come to countries and colonize the countries mostly of people of color. And that's why I chose a person of color. Now this can be an African American, it can be Puerto Rican, Haitian, Mexican, Guatemalan. It's people of color, Native American. And if you notice the eye, I chose to make the eye black. And the main reason is because that's how they, or those that believe in maybe supremacy, ethnicity, see them as non-existent, as if they don't exist or they have no value. The other thing that I did here on the silent majority is that the portion of their mouth is blackened. And to me, that's when we choose as a people not to vocalize or organize ourselves, we are a silent majority. We don't speak. There is a lot of other elements in here that I include. The darkenings of the mind, meaning sometimes we ourselves as a minority group can oftentimes believe or see ourselves as the way society dictates. Oh, I'm not worthy, or I'm not important, or I don't want to stir up any problems. And that's one of the main reasons why we remain silent. But I think as a group, as a human race, we all should have a voice to speak and not allow the silencing of ourselves to happen.